Joseph and Kushla, I understand that you run a private family practice in your hometown of Nelson, New Zealand, which includes free pregnancy support services for women. Why did you need to do that? Doesn't the government provide these sort of services?
Yes, well, the government does, Joe, provide some counselling for women should they choose to have it. But when we started out in 2001, in our little area of Nelson, there were about 280 or 300 abortions per year. So we know that the one or two social workers at the hospital couldn't possibly cope with the kind of counselling that's required for women in this complex situation.
So why you? On a personal level, what led you to get involved in this sort of work, and what keeps you motivated?
It's very challenging for me to live with the culture, which is not only was that our practice, but all the practices in this region really, which is to say that if a woman faces an unplanned pregnancy, you should quickly help them by referring them to gynecology, and essentially that means they're going to have an abortion. And I found this was too difficult for me to continue in that sort of setup. I thought we weren't offering women a good standard of service. And it was very confronting for me as a Catholic and with my views. So Kushla and I discussed it. At that time, Kushla had a couple of 2 or 3 children to look after at home. And she said, look, I could help you. And initially I thought that wasn't very realistic. But in fact, that's what's happened. And so Kushla's a nurse, and she was able to brainstorm with me what solutions we could provide. And we decided that actually you have to provide something within primary care. And to do that, we thought we need to start a new practice and set a new service up that is specifically focused on the needs of women in this situation.
It really matters to try. It really matters. It's significant to bring the love of Christ into a situation. It really matters what we do. There is really no one that can't help in some way, whether it's in prayer, whether it's in being a friend, to affirm life, to provide emergency accommodation for a young woman who has been kicked out of home or is homeless and is pregnant, to accompany a woman with hope who is post-abortive and grieving. And I think while there is actually some suffering in this work when you're working alongside those who are suffering, I think there is no greater joy than the joy of experiencing someone that finds hope when they had lost hope. And we know that many times that means that a woman will find a path forward to be able to continue a pregnancy with really everyone rolling up their sleeves and helping as a community.
And I think that the word hope is really important for health professionals as well, because we can all view this area as being a no-go area that's actually kind of hopeless, or there's no possibility of doing anything else apart from fitting with the usual care of termination of pregnancy. And so you have to get past that barrier as a health professional, say actually there is hope in this, and we just need to find a new pathway forward.
So you're going to be speaking at an online event organised by a group of young professionals in Canberra on Saturday, the 19th of September. Do you think the situation is comparable in Australia to how it is in New Zealand?
As far as we can tell from looking at the legislation, how do we look at what the different states, how they organise legislation with the abortion law? It seems very similar to me to the law that's just been passed in New Zealand, where there's a fairly liberal access to abortion with very few barriers. And the same, I think, probably applies, although that's something we were wanting to find out from participants if we could, just what's available locally. But it seems to me likely that you've got very similar limits on the kind of services that are available. What we offer is a service within our general practice, and I think there's some advantages in that. But there's certainly other ways that you can do that. And I get the impression from New Zealand, Australia and other similar countries, Western countries, that there's very limited, there are very limited choices for women in this situation. There are very few services that will be prepared to walk alongside women and accept referrals from all sorts of places. But yeah, I think our cultures are quite similar and the law changes are quite similar as far as I can see.
We're really keen to just impart anything that we can to encourage those who will be listening on the 19th. And there really is a sense that when we try to work within a consistent ethic of life, it takes a lot from us, and we need to support one another and encourage each other. And that means that we're supporting those who come to us for support, but also our colleagues, so that they can always see that there is hope in every situation.
So, what do you think might be achieved by sharing your ideas with young people in Canberra?
I think along the lines of what Kush has been saying, it's really helpful to have encouragement, and if others are thinking along similar lines, that they're uncomfortable with the status quo and they'd like to see some movement in a different direction, a more hopeful direction that gives more options, and where choosing life is a serious option for a woman with support. It's good to support one another, because you're not alone, and there are ways forward, and we've learned quite a lot, and we like to share it with anybody who's interested.
Well, thank you very much, Joseph and Kushla. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday, the 19th of September.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you. We look forward to it.